Hello, my friends. Welcome to week number 2 of the Getting Started with Raspberry Pi course. This is just a beginner course for people who have a Raspberry Pi or have always been intrigued by the Raspberry Pi and want to be able to just kind of figure out what it can do for them as a hobbyist, someone who's just interested in these types of projects, as well as an educator in terms of how do we use this in the classroom when we think about STEM, our NGSS science standards, computer science standards. I'm looking at it through the lens of computer science and the work that we do. And this week, we're going to move away from what we did the first week. We spent all last week getting started, understanding the hardware, how to plug it in, how to format the SD card, how to just the basic layout, how to kind of customize the desktop. Really just getting a base foundation for being comfortable with the Raspberry Pi itself. Now we're moving into this week, week number 2, and we're going to be starting to do some physical computing, doing some coding, but we're going to be doing it through Scratch, a graphical user interface, just using some blocks to build some awareness, get people comfortable with breadboards and sensors and resistors and LEDs and that type of thing for those that are new to that. And then as well as getting you comfortable with coding. If you haven't done a whole lot of coding, Scratch is a great graphical user interface of the blocks to start to understand how to think through code to make things happen. And physical computing is wonderful as well because we'll actually be able to tangibly see things happen with the things that we're going to be building and making. So it kind of brings the code to life, so to speak. So this week we have 4 projects. We're going to start off with the getting started with Scratch. So the first project is on the Raspberry Pi website, the LED and buzzer project is just going to help you figure out how to turn on LEDs and that type of thing, understand the breadboard, just some really cool kind of basic overview concepts. We're then going to move into button switches in the second project, then move into the robot antenna project, then the Santa detector, which is great even if we're not around the holiday season. It's a great project you can use at any time of the year. And then we're going to do something really cool this week that we'll be doing every week moving forward. The 5th day will be a creative build day, giving you time to create something of your own based on what you've learned this week. We didn't do it last week because it wasn't so much to do. We just kind of got you comfortable. But this week, you've been comfortable. You've done the terminal stuff with Pac-Man Treasure Hunt, things like that last week. Now all this Scratch and physical computing this week. And I want you to create something new. Create your own project. And I can't wait to see what it is that you develop and come up with. So 4 projects to get you in the mindset of physical computing and coding with Scratch. And then giving you the freedom and autonomy to apply that on the 5th day. So if we look at the CSTA standards, Raspberry Pi has their standards laid out in their categories, and it's phenomenal. But a lot of people are looking to computer science and the CSTA standards. So this section is going to be primarily heavily focused on the algorithm and programming concept of the CSTA standards, as well as computing systems. It'll be those 2 that we really are going to bring to light. And I can't give you specific standards because depending on your grade level or your grade band, I want you to be thinking about how these projects could fit the standards that you teach if you are indeed an educator. And we can have that conversation in the Slack channel. So I welcome you to week number 2, physical computing, Scratch, another great week to build the building blocks. And it's only going to further build your foundation when we get into weeks 3 and 4 and maybe 5 and maybe 6. We'll just keep going. We'll just keep the learning going until you've all had enough. All right, my friends, as always, stay awesome, and when you are ready, you can go ahead and proceed to our first project of this week, which is LEDs and buzzers. All right, my friends, stay awesome. Peace.